Hello. Thank you for joining us for Shining Light on Shadows, a candid conversation about mental health. This is episode 29, and our guest is Amanda Kranz. We're talking about a mother's love. Sunday, of course, is Mother's Day. Our episode name is A Mother's Love, an Unbreakable Bond Through Life or Death. Dawn, this is going to be one of those episodes that we will be talking about for a while. And yes, a deep breath is absolutely appropriate. Before we start talking about the show, first of all, I want to make sure people know that we're live on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, and my website. And we want to encourage everyone to like, comment, share, retweet, tag your friends. So many people, I think, will be able to relate to what we're talking about on this episode. Mother's Day is challenging for people for so many reasons. I was just talking with, messaging with a friend of mine from high school who lost his mom just after graduation. I think it's 25 years. And they keep Mother's Day low key. There are people who have difficult relationships with their mothers, people like yourself who've lost your mother, Dawn. We're going to be focusing on the other side, though, as moms, kind of how people have experienced Mother's Day. I do want to just give you a quick thank you, though, for how supportive you were our last show when we talked about my ADHD, and for supporting me through the New York Times read along show as well. It definitely has made a huge difference, and I feel really good about having shared it.
Good. I'm so glad to hear that, Neil. You did a great job on both shows. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. So as I mentioned, we have our guest, Amanda Kranz. We're going to say hi to a few folks who are watching first, just to welcome folks. And again, for people who are watching the replay, thank you so much for coming back and watching the show when it was a better time for you. If you leave a comment and tag one of us, we'll make sure to come back and respond and engage. But of course, we can engage with folks who are watching live. Jonathan is watching from the East Village. Jonathan, thank you so much. You've watched a number of these episodes, and I particularly appreciated your comments on the two ADHD shows that we did. My mom is watching from Hastings-on-Hudson, New York. Hi, Mom, and thank you as always for your support. Kate is watching as well. Kate Easton. We'd like to say she's down here, not in HELL double hockey sticks. She is Dawn's landlady, so she is literally down below. This way or that way, I'm not sure where, is Jim, Dawn's husband. And hola desde Milwaukee. Hello from Milwaukee, if my Spanish serves me correctly. I do want to share, Jim, I saw you were having a hard time these last few days, and I just want to let you know that in addition to Dawn loving you, and I mean this because I tease you every time we have a show, I love you too, Jim. And I've said it numerous times. I think the world of you, and I just appreciate what you've brought to Dawn and her life. So thank you for that. Paula is watching from Tallahassee, Florida, sending lots of support for all this weekend, as it can have a wide range of emotions. And that's one thing that we were talking about, that Mother's Day can be difficult for people for a variety of reasons, and we don't always know what that might be. We don't know what people's experiences are, Jonathan is saying he may have something of a record for the number of shows that he's watched between me and Sri. That might be. If only we'd kept track, Jonathan. If only we'd kept track. So before we bring Amanda on, Dawn, I want to go back to an episode we did back in January. Melissa Lutke was on the show. We talked about her depression that she faced when she was writing a book about motherhood. And that was a particularly important show for me because it was the first time she was sharing her story. You also shared some personal experiences on that show. Here's the blog post that you wrote. Not that I have to remind you, but for our viewers, the promise of motherhood, the devastation of miscarriages, the joy of motherhood. I still remember the 4 babies I lost, and I cherish the fact that I have 2 beautiful, healthy, happy children. And I know that all that pain and heartache led me to being the mother I am today. This is as good a setup for today's episode as anything else. Can you take a moment just to explain a little bit about that story before we bring Amanda on?
Sure. So before I was able to have children, have the 2 children that I have, I experienced four separate miscarriages. One of my miscarriages was at 14 weeks, and it was really devastating. That was my very first pregnancy, and I think I have mentioned before that a lot of people say the wrong things. Things like, well, you can always try again, or well, at least this or at least that. And those are really hard things to hear when you've faced something as devastating as losing a child. And for me, that that was my first baby. And I loved every child that I was pregnant with from the moment I got pregnant. And there's just no ands, ifs, or buts about that for me. So yeah, that when I think about Mother's Day, Neil, there's just like so many things that go on that's so bittersweet in so many ways. Being a mother, right? I feel like, that's really awesome, and Mother's Day is such a special thing. However, having lost my own mother and knowing that for me, that was something really special between her and I that we shared when Mother's Day came around, that's also really devastating. So I have this like mix of emotions for sure.
Absolutely. It is very challenging, and I really do. I want to appreciate. I think it was Paula who was watching earlier. Was one of the first people that I saw share a graphic, and I'll see if I can find it before the show is over. That express support for people on Mother's Day, regardless of their situation. I think it was something like if they've lost a child or lost a mother, or if you haven't been able to have a child. Kind of every situation that someone can be in, where if you're not talking with your mother, if your mother's not talking with you, we just don't know where people are coming from, and there's so many challenges around that. So thank you for sharing that, and for talking about that. Had you? I just want to recall. Had you spoken much about that before that episode? About your
Not a
miscarriage?
lot. I mean, it's there's pieces of it in my book, but publicly, not a lot. It doesn't come up in the topic of conversation very often unless someone is sharing, their story about, an experience that they had recently had, or, or having a conversation about it. But no, not a lot.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I thought it was. I thought it was something that you broached mostly for the first time. Amanda, who's our guest, who's a friend of yours from Milwaukee from earlier days. She had since moved out of state. She moved to Richmond, Virginia, actually closer to me. She wrote a blog post as well. Her blog post, A Mother's Heartache, A Mother's Resilience, Navigating Through the Trauma, Anxiety, and Depression of Losing a Child while trying to rediscover myself and being a mother to my other children has been an incredibly challenging journey, one that's difficult to put into words. We're going to invite Amanda to join us and to talk a little bit about what her experience was like, and some parallels for you in terms of the challenges of grief and loss, but also having a family to care for and love. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Neil. Hi, Dawn. Thank you for having me on the show tonight. I'm excited and nervous to talk about my story and my journey of motherhood. It definitely didn't go as I expected. We all have, I think, dreams and hopes and visions, and sometimes those change suddenly, and you have to adapt and keep going forward. It gets a little challenging.
Amanda, why don't you share with us a little bit about your daughter and what your experience was with Adea, and you can talk about your other children too, but to talk about Adea for a few minutes.
Yes, Adea was born at 25 weeks, 3 days, weighing just 1 pound, 12 ounces, 12 inches long. She was so tiny, so mighty, so feisty. She was a fighter. She developed neck, which is a disease in the bowels, and she had a surgery at a very young age. She recovered from that. She also became septic from that. And then she fought really hard. She gained a lot of weight. We've got some really good memories with her. We were able to spend Christmas with her. We were able to, the big kids got to see her and hold her, most of them. And after her surgery for the neck, she developed pneumonia and sepsis and had to be put on an ECMO machine. And she fought so hard for 6 days. And just one night had an episode. Nobody was expecting it. And there really wasn't any turning around from that situation. And I was alone. We were together with her, but our big kids were not there. And I think having to call them and tell them about her loss was just as hard as losing her.
Sure. And exactly how old was she when she passed?
She was 83 days old.
83 days old.
83 days.
And I know Amanda. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say that was in February of 2023, February 5th.
Correct.
Those two dates, her birthday, November 14th, and February 5th, remain really important days for you.
They do. They do. It's triggers. One day is a positive memory, and the other one's a negative memory. And learning how to incorporate her life and how special she was has been, I enjoy celebrating those days and thinking of her and remembering her and honoring her in any way possible. The family always gets together for her birthday, her half birthday, as well as the 5th of the month. And it's always there. The days are always there. It runs together, even though it's only been, this is awful to say, it's only been 2.5 years, but it feels like yesterday. And you only know it if you're experiencing it. To wake up each day without your child is one of the worst things ever.
Amanda, can you tell us, you have 4 other children, correct?
I do. I have 4 biological children and 3 bonus children. My oldest, Caleb, is 24. My oldest daughter, Kylie, is 22. I'm sorry. Then my second daughter, Kaylin, she is 21. And then we have Keegan, who's 17, about to be 18 at the end of the month. So we're experiencing some of that empty nest syndrome here too. My stepchildren, my bonus children, Desiree is about to be 21. My stepson, Demetrius Jr., is about to be, or he is 19, excuse me. And Malik, the youngest, is 11.
So not only did you lose a child 2.5 years ago, but you also had to continue to be a mother to your other children. Can you talk a little bit about the balance of that?
It's been challenging because I really wanted to become a helicopter mom. I wanted to who, what, when, where, why, all the time with them. But I knew that at the end of the day, that was not going to help. And instead, I'm grateful for all of our relationships. They're all unique in so many different ways. But they're amazing. Like, they've helped me. They've been supportive of me, and they check in on me, and still trying to navigate driving cars, moving out. Those are all really big changes. And so learning to let go of that control has been very hard. But thankfully, they put up with me and they know how to. I love that picture of us. That was Adea's first, it was her half birthday, and we went to Build-A-Bear. Each of us made a Build-A-Bear and put her heartbeat inside. So they all had the opportunity to take that home with them. I have
That's
one.
A beautiful picture.
I love it. We use her bear every year on her birthday as well to honor her. It comes out and it's part of the family.
And her bear is special. What you said you put her heartbeat in it?
The sound of her heartbeat is in the hand of each of the Build-A-Bears.
In the hand. Wow.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Amanda, can you talk a little bit about the struggle maybe that you might have had with other people and things that they might say to you that might be really difficult? Because I think that's, you and I have had that conversation about some of the unintentional harmful things that people say. Can you talk about that?
Yes. One of the worst, I wouldn't say worst, but one of the hardest things for me has just been answering the question of how many children do you have? And coming across to say that, you have to read the room, figure out who you're talking to, decide if they're ready to handle that, because the responses aren't always the best. It's, oh, I'm sorry, or everything happens for a reason. They're in a better place. They're pain-free. Yes, they're all of those things, but that doesn't negate my pain and our family's pain of not having her here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Neil.
I want to bring in a few comments from people who are watching, Amanda, because that's one of the things that we appreciate about the show and the platform that we use. My mom was referring to something Dawn said earlier, that it's a great loss when you lose a child at any age, and that's certainly true. And she says, Amanda, sorry for the great loss. It's not easy to cope with. Kelsey K is watching, and that smile tells me that you may know Kelsey K.
Kelsey, it's gonna make you cry. Kelsey was with me. We both experienced the same thing. We both had what was called pre-prom, where our water broke early. My water actually broke with a day at 22 weeks, and I delivered her at 25 weeks, 3 days. Kelsey was in the same situation, and we became Facebook friends. And she's been so supportive of me. We were supportive of each other because both of our girls were in the NICU together. We always talked about how they'd be besties one day, and we would go hang out and they would grow up together. And I love watching little Blake grow up. I see she's just been a blessing to me in this journey. I think finding people who understand what you've gone through is key to healing, and finding people you can talk to and relate to. I appreciate you, Kelsey. You know, we have a bond forever.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'm sure it's a club that you wish you didn't belong to, but thank goodness that you found people that that understand, because I think sometimes people think they understand. And I mean, I had miscarriages. I don't put that in the same category. It's a different, I think it's my grief, right? It's my sadness, and I'm allowed to feel those feels, but I think there is a different level that that you experience when you've held your child and you've and you've spent time with them. I think that is different.
It's something that's challenging. I want to give Kelsey a shout out though, and Amanda, I apologize. I know that it brought up emotions just to see her on the show. I have the same reaction when friends of mine are watching. High school friends who I haven't talked to in years will drop in and leave a comment and show that support. It's special. It really does mean something when people are there for you.
Kelsey is raising her daughter as a Packer fan as well, so I appreciate that.
A Packer fan.
Yeah,
I can appreciate that. When I lived
you better
in Seattle,
appreciate that, Neil.
I better. A close friend of mine was a Packers fan in Seattle, and I think I caught some of it from him. So I can definitely, and I spent enough time in Milwaukee, right? So we have another comment, and maybe this is someone else, Charisse
yes.
Breidenbach.
Yes.
You are all loved, Beanie. Beanie is
me. That's my nickname. That's my mom's best friend. She has been there through thick and thin, and it's another twist on like this whole situation with Mother's Day. Like, I know my mother's pain of watching me go through what I'm going through has got to be a whole nother level of, I can't imagine,
Sure.
what my mom feels for me as a mother. And I appreciate Charisse for all her support and helping my mom too.
Sure.
Being an amazing best friend.
And we have a few other comments. I'll take the comment off. Amanda Beanie Kranz is our guest. Producer's prerogative to play with that. Jim is saying, "You're so strong, Amanda. Thank you for sharing your story." He's in tears right next door, and I'm not surprised at all. Kate says, "Thank you for sharing, Amanda. Unfortunately, I've been in a situation of supporting parents who've experienced losses similar to yours. I'm interested in what was one of the most supportive things people said or did that helped you on this journey." And before you answer, I'll give you a moment to think about that. I was asked the same question when I did my show recently, and I wasn't expecting it. That I think is a real gift for someone to give you that chance to think about what are some of the most supportive things that people have said. That could be really helpful for folks.
For me, as far as something that helped the most, I really, truly believe in my heart that this is what helped us the most, was grateful for Full Circle Grief Center. They were able to host an 8-week perinatal loss group for women who miscarried, stillbirth, loss of an infant. And we met some amazing couples in that, couples and women. some that one I particularly have a bond with forever, but that really seemed to help because he was able to talk about his emotions. I was able to talk about my emotions, and we learned different paths to how to heal, and being with others, same age group, was helpful as well. But I fully recommend Full Circle Grief Center. I can't say it very quickly, and that's where I also began individual counseling there as well. My counselor's
I'm
no
hoping
longer with them, but
this is the right website
correct.
that I pulled up,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
FullCircleGC.org, FullCircleGC.org, a place where healing begins. We empower our community to grieve in a healthy way by providing professional bereavement support to children, adults, families, and communities in Central Virginia. Talking about bereavement, I didn't know before the show, before we talked actually the week before, that last Sunday was International Bereaved Mother's Day. And you had shared this on Facebook. You have a quiet strength, a steadfast hope for joy still to come. The tears you shed are bittersweet, your smile, both worn and warm. You've experienced the loss of a child, the loss of a dream, the loss of a joy. Today we honor your love and recognize your grief. Happy Bereaved Mother's Day. Always the Sunday before Mother's Day.
Correct.
And there's also a Bereaved Father's Day as well.
Correct. The Sunday before Father's Day.
Yeah.
Which we learned in our grief center at our support group.
Kelsey goes for the Go Packers, which I think we're going to have to put up the picture of Adea again, just so people see what we're talking about. That little cute Packers fan.
Cute fan. So a little secret about that hat. That hat is actually made for a newborn, and it was folded in half. My best friend Renee gave it to us.
Wow.
And she grew into it. It was really small at first, but yeah, she was tiny.
Do you remember how old she was in this picture?
I don't off the top of my head. It was
before Christmas, right? It was.
I believe so. No, I believe so. Or I'm not 100% sure at the moment.
Sure. Renee Judkins Lee.
Yes.
Your friends really came out for you, Amanda. You're doing great, Amanda. Love you. Proud of you, my dear best friend. It's
I love you, Renee. Thank you.
Great to see this kind of support.
She has been my rock. She always checks in on me, always is, sending me positive quotes and encouraging me. Having good support system is also huge to get you through these types of losses.
Sure.
So Amanda, I have another question for you because I always admire you post a lot of like how you're getting through the day. Like I've got this quote that I, from a calendar that was on my desk, and you talk a lot about self-care and how do you balance that those like deep moments of grief with getting yourself to a place where you can look at that calendar item that, that calendar quote and like go, okay, so today this is what I'm going to do. Talk a little bit about that if you could.
I think the most important part is to feel those moments of grief, allow it, because suppressing it isn't going to help. I'll have to admit, I can't tell you how many times I've cried in the car driving to work because I see VCU. It's there every day, Monday through Friday. I see it and I just feel it and I let it out. Sometimes I don't put my mascara on until I'm in the parking structure, but it just you have to just feel it. You have to feel it because sitting inside of you is hard. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say, I need to step away right now. Something triggered me, but yet go back and put a happy face on. It's just about balance. I don't know how to explain it exactly, because it's just internalizing, like, okay, other people need me and I need to be good to myself, but also allow myself to have those moments.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's so I
look
have so many
through.
questions. I'm gonna let Neil pop in.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I was I was just reflecting on this issue of the different ways that people experience this. I know that, and there's, first of all, it's a range of different experiences. And Dawn, you were talking earlier about your miscarriages, and that you made a comment, something to the effect of, you don't even think of it in the same way as this kind of loss. But I would actually challenge you on that, because one of the things that we've talked about, in reference, this is a quick trigger warning for folks who have not watched the show before, and know that we talk about some very sensitive issues. Both Dawn and I are survivors of sexual abuse and rape. And we talk about how there isn't this issue of equivalencies, that one person's grief or one person's experience is not worse than the other, right? I could very easily say that, oh my God, Dawn, what you went through is so much worse than what I went through, and that it doesn't pale. But it's very real for the individual. And I think of people who are along that continuum, people who've lost their child, even before that, there's grief for people who can't get pregnant, who tried multiple times, people who can't bring a baby to term, or even people who lose a baby at birth. I know someone who lost their baby in the moment of childbirth. And I wasn't thinking about this at first, but I do want to give a shout out to our friend Meg Zupancic, from Wesleyan. She was a classmate of my wife's dear friend. She passed away giving birth to her second child. So there's the other side of that as well. But then, of course, Amanda, your experience of having Adea be born at 25 weeks, early, and then passing at three months. My wife, Pam, she lost her brother when she was 3 years old. He died of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. I know of someone who lost a 2-year-old. It was somebody's grandchild, but they were in the room. This woman had multiple children, several children. They're all running around. She took a phone call for 2 minutes, and this 2-year-old, she had been mopping the floor. This 2-year-old found herself somehow in the bucket of water and drowned. And then I remember someone that I carpooled with, their high schooler. They dropped him off at school in the morning, and he didn't come home. Some kind of viral meningitis. All of these examples, it doesn't matter what happened, when, how long you had any loss. I mean, the last thing, it's clear, the last thing anyone wants to deal with is for a parent to outlive a child in whatever circumstance. All those stories are heartbreaking.
For sure. I think there's some more comments that for Amanda that she'd love to hear.
Yeah. The Joseph Jensen. Let's Who's Joseph?
Joey. Yes, Joey is my coworker / brother from another mother. But he was there for me through the beginning. We worked together. And so he has been there through my entire Adea journey, as well as his wife, Ashley. I'm so grateful for them.
It's great. Renee wants to make sure you know you're doing great.
Good, because I'm still nervous.
And she's also encouraging, she might have tagged Sue Gardner or encouraged Sue Gardner to comment on this post. So certainly a number of,
also knows what it's like to lose a child. And as we were just talking about, age doesn't matter. She lost her daughter, who was also my best friend, Shelly, at the age of 35. And it's just hard. It's hard. And it's hard to watch my niece and nephew who don't have their mom. And so motherhood is hard.
Yeah.
Motherhood is hard.
Yeah, I was just going to make a little bit of a transition, Amanda, simply because our children, 2 of our children went to elementary school, middle school, and high school together. So I have a 24-year-old and a 22-year-old, as do you. And when you opened up the show, you started talking a little bit about that kind of like not being a helicopter parent and having to like let them go and let them make their own decisions. And my whole entire blog that I wrote this week revolved around that difficulty of redefining motherhood as your kids become more independent. And you know, there's a loss in there. And I know you're going to agree with me on this because you were one of those parents who was just really involved with your kids' lives. And, you know, you did everything for them and with them. And then all of the sudden they seem to like be grown-ups and they move out and they move away. And you are kind of left with this really deep sense of loss. They don't, you know, you spend all this time, right? Like 20 years of my life was spent with everything revolving around them and sacrificing everything and, you know, being their mom. That's what I was identified as. That's what most moms are identified as moms. You lose your name, right? You're just known as so-and-so's mom and so-and-so's mom. And then suddenly, you know, like both of my children have moved in with their significant others and, you know, the phone doesn't ring as much. The Snapchats don't come through as often. I don't really know what's going on with their lives all the time. Like I used to every single day when they came home and I knew all the drama that was happening. And that's a loss in and of itself, right? You want to talk a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. It was just, my journey's been a little different. My oldest Caleb moved out of state away from us during COVID. That was hard because he just wasn't here anymore, and not having him here anymore was like, I had him at 18. We were together through thick and thin. And just to have him leave was really challenging, but then he came back. They come back. I promise they do come back. And then my oldest daughter, Kylie, shortly after we moved here, for her 18th birthday, I drove her back to Wisconsin and had to leave her there. And that was hard. And now, again, they come back. She is living in Lynchburg, Virginia with her boyfriend. And so I'm glad that she's back here close to the family. Last year, Kaylin and Desiree moved out of the house for the first time. And I'm just here with the boys now. Send help. But I miss my big girls a lot. Like it just the balance and all, like you said, the drama. I miss the girls coming home and telling me stuff, and they'll send a text or a TikTok, things like that. And so I've learned it's just, you have to learn different ways to communicate and connect with them. But It's hard. It is a loss. It's quiet. It's different. I'm not used to it. Like, what are you supposed to do with yourself now? Like,
Yeah.
we were looking forward to a day being here and doing that all over again. And now it's definitely a loss for all of us.
Yeah, it's quiet,
Quiet.
right? Like,
Quiet.
and that's a weird thing when all you've known for 18, 19, 20 years of your life is chaos.
Mhm.
And you had a
Yeah.
lot more chaos than I did, but I'll tell you what, 2 kids can be a lot of chaos.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And you learn to live in that chaos, and that's what you know, and that's what's familiar to you. And it's very lonely.
Yes.
When that chaos goes away. It's very lonely. And it doesn't matter. I have a wonderful husband who I love tremendously, and I love our life. It's an amazing, amazing life. But I do mourn that. I do mourn that those feelings of chaos in my life. So I create my own chaos, but I do.
Keegan graduates at the end of the month and turns 18, and in a matter of 2 days he turns 18, and the next day he graduates. So that's
Wow.
we keep moving on. Time does
Life
not
moves
stop.
on, right?
Yeah.
I do want to bring in Dawn. My mom said she agrees with you that she went through the same feelings with the transition, and obviously I left home 20 plus years ago in terms of going to college and then moving away. And my sister has lived she lives in Seattle now, the other side of the country from where my mom is. So that's certainly challenging. And going back to Amanda's comments earlier, Kelsey actually said that she wanted to add that Amanda gave her milk to other babies who needed breast milk. And she also gave us Adea's clothing from miles away. Shows the kind of soul that she has.
Thank you.
You have a good
Kelsey.
soul. I want to share with folks some other pictures that Amanda shared with us that I just think are just really fabulous. This picture of Adea's name written in the snow with the sun shining brightly overhead.
We call her my little sun. She's our little sunshine. We look for her in so many ways of life. And that day I didn't get to play in the snow with her like I imagined. So instead I wrote her name in the snow and still honored her as if she were here.
She's always with you, and you're always but at the same time you're balancing that with work, with parenting, with other things. I mean, this is the kind of thing that I can only imagine. I am not in that situation, but it could be consuming. It could be. I mean, this is grief can really overwhelm people. How do you find that balance between honoring her and keeping her present, but not letting it overwhelm you and just paralyze you?
I think I find peace in it. My counselor and she's very proud of me for the way I bond with Adea and how we continue to keep her memory alive. Even something as simple as like the holidays, for example, Easter. When she was born, we got her all of the headbands. And so Easter time, I put her little Easter headband on her, either her bear or her picture, whatever it is, to still feel connected with her and not, have that moment where I'm feeling that and then continue on. And then we talk about her. Like it's very important. All of us talk about her too on every occasion, daily. Got a little lost on the question, but
no, you answered it.
Okay.
Exactly. How are your kids in terms of you all talk about her? She's present for them as well?
Yes. They all have necklaces. We all have necklaces. Her first Easter, we made necklaces with her ashes so they could all carry a piece of her. They've got her Build-A-Bear. for each little holiday, and I'm still that mom will get them an Easter basket or stocking stuffers. And so I've kind of, this past Christmas, I gave them all a little elephant. We think of elephants when we think of her. It reminds us of her. And I gave them an ornament. So they each got an ornament for their Christmas tree. That was an elephant. So they've also gotten journals so they can write in, flowers, candles. We've done something that I think has also been helpful is in October, we go to a Full Circle Grief Center, and there is on October 15th, it's International Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day. And so we go as a family with other families and light candles in honor of those children not here. We've also gone to VCU on her birthday and the day she passed. We've made blankets, I can't think of it right, the knot blankets. The kids have all helped create knot blankets, and we donated those to babies in the NICU. So I think just getting them involved in those things has been helpful, and they're always willing to help and always want to do things to honor her. I'm pretty lucky.
I was going to...
I was just going to say, Dawn, this is from Full Circle Grief Center's candlelighting event for that day, Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day, which I hadn't heard of before. But I think that's really helpful to know for folks who want to recognize that October 15th.
Yes.
So Amanda, you said something in our prep call that I thought was really, really important. You said learning how to parent a child that isn't here is something that you have really embraced. And can you talk a little bit about that? Because I just find that to be so important, and I hadn't thought about what that must feel like.
It's different. It's very different. I still want to, like, for example, on her first day of kindergarten, it's not here yet, but it's going to come one day. And even though she's not here to have that moment, I'm going to find some way to incorporate that into my day or into that time of year. Same with the holidays, things like that. I talk to her a lot, when I see something that reminds me of her, or sometimes it's like, hey, she's talking to me as in a support sign, or I forgot what my best friend calls them, glimmers, something. Renee, if you know what it is, let me know. I forgot. But
like, you all don't know this, but right before we were going to
say that.
Yeah, right before we were going to go on the show, Amanda is wearing this necklace, and the charm fell off the necklace. And
it doesn't happen often. It's maybe happened 5 times, and every time it's happened has been in a very unique situation.
Yeah. So I thought that was really significant.
She was letting us know she was with us today,
yes.
for sure.
Yeah.
So Renee reminds you that you and the family do an amazing job honoring her always, and we heard several examples of that. That Adea's garden is a bright spot, full of beauty.
I find peace in that. I have found peace in gardening, planting. She has a special spot in our yard, and there's a mum. Started with the mum that I bought before I broke my water. I didn't get a chance to plant it, and it survived that entire winter in this little plant container. And so once it became spring, I decided I was going to plant a garden for her, and I put that mum in there, and it has come back every year. And I add different flowers in there, and I just watch them grow. It just makes me think of, I always say stop and smell the flowers too. Like, I can go there if I want to just think about her and just see it grow, even though I don't get to see her grow, but it reminds me of her.
Sure. And we also, Renee, I think, answered the question God winks.
Yes,
Is that
that's what she calls them. Yes.
Yeah, that's just great. That's just great. I do want to take a moment, just a few housekeeping matters. We do have time for more questions and comments if people put them in the chat. So certainly encourage you to do that. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure you press play on the video. If you're watching on someone's feed, if someone shared it, and if you comment, we may not see the comment. So you actually have to press play on the video. And that if you did join us late, as soon as we're done with the show, a few minutes after we're done, you'll be able to watch it from the beginning on Facebook, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and my website. We'll upload a clip to Instagram. I know a few folks are watching on both mine and Dawn's channels. Deborah Kerr was watching on Instagram, so thank you for saying that, for saying hi. And I do want to take a moment to thank Digimentors. That's the consulting firm that I work with. They offer pro bono support. They give me the time and space to, produce the show and co-host it with Dawn. And I have to say that conversations like this one, the work that we've done recently, being able to talk about Dawn's book, The Blue Flower Curtain, my experience. I actually, and for folks who are new, there are a lot of people watching. Thanks to you, Amanda, that are watching for the first time. We started this show in February of last year, and before that, I had never mentioned the words anxiety or depression or the fact that I see a therapist out loud in public. I was too embarrassed. I had too much stigma around that. And here I am 29 episodes later talking about mental health. And last week I shared my own story around being diagnosed with ADHD, realizing that at 51, it's not anxiety and depression, but it's actually adult ADHD and rejection sensitive dysphoria. I would never have been able to do that without the support of Digimentors and my colleagues, and with Dawn at my side since the very beginning. So I wanted to make sure to thank them for that as well. And I'm glad that we had a chance to share your story with people. You had a number of people come out and support you, and I'm hoping that the folks in our circles that had a chance to watch were able to learn something as well. We talked about a lot about this this grieving, but also the celebration. This is another graphic you had on your Facebook page. I raise awareness for prematurity because my child was born fighting. I am the mother of a warrior. November is Prematurity Awareness Month. And that's when she was born in November, yes. Right?
Yes.
November 14th. So that's something. I think advocacy is an important part of the conversation. You mentioned that one of the things you talked about is your license plate.
Yeah.
Ardea, sorry.
Yes.
And you were talking about wanting to see if Virginia could recognize.
Yes, I would like to work with some of the lobbyists to get a license. Virginia has a lot of license plates that are specialty plates. And so I would like to get one in awareness of infant and pregnancy awareness loss in some sort of way. I know there's processes to it, but it's definitely a goal of mine in the future. We also, honor September is NICU Awareness Month. And I've done some speaking at VCU and plan to in the future regarding NICU and premature babies and things like that and loss. And I'm honored to have those opportunities, and I take every chance I can get.
I was going to say, this is one of the first times outside of that kind of an audience, right? Amanda, that you're doing something like this
Yes.
in this live stream kind of live audience thing.
Yes.
And you're doing a fantastic job. I hope you feel that and know that.
Thank
And
you. Thank you.
you're getting a lot of support. But I really want to thank you for that, because this is not a topic we have touched on our show yet. And when I asked you if you would consider being a guest, you did not even hesitate for one moment.
Yes.
And I really appreciate your vulnerability and your willingness to just be raw and honest about this, the circumstances and the journey that you've been on. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
I want to share this graphic. We had mentioned it earlier. For everyone for whom Mother's Day is difficult, we are thinking of you. Mothers whose children have died, Amanda, obviously, mothers estranged from their kids, people who were adopted, the death of your parenting partner, the death of a sibling with whom you shared your mom, people struggling with infertility, people whose mother or mother figure died, people estranged from their mothers, moms who made an adoption plan or legally released a child, people who can't have kids and want to, the death of someone who made you feel special as a mom, all the other ways that Mother's Day hurts. And there may be others that are not in this graphic that we didn't mention earlier. Mother's Day, is the focus is usually on the brunches and the flowers and the some gifts and phone calls. There are a lot of people who just are quiet on Mother's Day, and just either by choice or just they're not sure exactly what to do or how to manage through it. So I want to give a special recognition for people who are struggling with that.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, Mother's Day is bittersweet for me because of the very special bond I had with my mom and the loss of my mom. And I try very hard to honor her quietly, the best that I know how. And I know a lot of people who, especially at 53 years old, who have lost their mother. And all I have to say is, if you have a good relationship with your mom, go give her a hug, a big one.
Yes,
because I
amen.
miss hugging my mom a lot.
Of course, of course. It's definitely one of the bigger challenges that people have to deal with, have to face. And my heart goes out to you. With your permission, Dawn, I'd like to share a picture of your mom, because I see these on Facebook all the time from your shares, and I think it's great. I remember when she passed. I remember when she was sick during COVID, and that was certainly a challenging time. But I want people to kind of just see who you're talking about, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
And this is the one that I like. I'm sure there are a number of pictures, but it's just this great.
It's my favorite picture of her. My favorite picture of her.
Full picture.
She was very sick. She was very sick, but I told her that she needed to do the duck face, and she didn't know what it was. So I had to show her what the duck face was, and then she did it for me. So
she's very sweet, very sweet woman.
She was a very sweet woman.
She loved
very kind.
So much, and your children.
Yes, that is for sure. That is for sure. Miss her so much. And just for clarification, she did not die of COVID. She died during COVID, but she did not die of COVID. She had cancer. So
sure. It was just, I remember it was difficult in terms of the last 2 days.
No memorial.
To reach out to her, to connect with her. Yeah.
Yeah. We couldn't give her a memorial. I'm actually doing a 5-year memorial for her this year in June. So
are you? Good.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Good. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that later. Dawn, Renee says she agrees with you that Amanda is doing great. And my mom also said that expressed your feelings very well. I encourage them to express love and hugs all around. Really, really a very special show, and I don't take it lightly, Amanda. Even if it's something that you've talked about with at VCU, and if you've posted about it, I think it's a different thing altogether to get on your computer and talk to an audience. You don't know kind of where this is going, who's watching, and what you're doing. It's a different kind of venue, but I appreciate you taking the time to share your story. So many people will benefit from it.
I thank you for the opportunity. If I have just touched one person, that's all that matters to me. It's okay. We're all in it together, and it's a difficult subject. And there's also one thing I wanted to say was say their name. Say their name. Remember them.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Amanda.
I appreciate you both.
Make sure folks know about our next episode, still in Mental Health Awareness Month. Aisha Sultan from St. Louis, she's a journalist there. She actually just launched a series on the local PBS network, which is still getting funding, thankfully, on depression. And she will be joining us. It's Things We Don't Talk About is the show, and she'll talk about the various episodes: depression, bullying, anxiety, family boundaries, and more. So we're looking forward to having her join us on May 22nd. We are live the second and fourth Thursdays of the month. So we are looking forward to that. And I want to close, I think, with a picture of your daughter on screen. I'm just looking for, I think this one is a good one. It shows a good little mix of shots. And just thank you for everything. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for continuing to honor her. It's really special to hear how present she is. Jonathan says touching program, and I think he speaks for all of us. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.